Hi, my name is Tom Antos, and today I wanted to set up a simple interview shot so we can test out three different LED lights and see which one performs the best. I know there's a lot of people out there, wondering what kind of lights to buy, so I thought I would save you the time and money by reviewing some of the more affordable lights and to see if any of them are really worth investing in. The lights I chose for this little test are all under $500, and they're more or less the same kind of size and strength when it comes to the output of the light. This is the first light. This one's another LED light. Just, more or less the same size again. It just doesn't have the barn doors, so it seems maybe smaller. And then this is the other light. The first one that I'm going to use for this interview setup is this light. This one is produced by a company called Came. It's a company actually that I recently had a chance to test out two of their camera stabilizers, which turned out to be really great and greatly priced too. So if you guys haven't seen that video, you can follow the links in the description of this video. Now, as far as the interview shot that we're going to use to test out these lights, it's sort of your typical interview setup. We're going to use one light as the key light on the subject's face, and then another light as a hair light. So this is how the shot looks, with just a natural light there at the location. I'm shooting this on the Canon 7D with a 50mm f1.8 Canon EF lens. Right now my settings are ISO 1250 with an aperture at set all the way open at f1.8 and the shutter speed at 1/48th of a second. These are the first lights I'm going to use. One of these lights has 1024 LED lights, costs $468. This light uses an XLR power cable. It runs at 12 volts, and here I'm going to adjust the intensity of it. I'm going to put it all the way up. I have to bring the exposure down a little bit, and then I adjust the white balance in my camera to match the daylight, balanced light that comes from the light. Then afterwards I turn on the other light in the back behind her, and I put that one all the way at 100%. As you can see up here, you can adjust the intensity of the light by either one of the knobs or by touching the touch screen, which is kind of cool. And you can also adjust the color temperature of this light. You can balance it, for tungsten or all the way to daylight balance. And as you basically turn the knob, you'll see the two different color LED lights will kind of mix. And it also holds there's a kind of a battery mount up here, so you can power these lights on location. Let's say outside if you're when you don't have access to a power outlet. So this is how the shot looks right now. It's just your standard typical interview setup. So I have one light which I'm using as a key light above my subject's face, just to the left side of the camera there, and then the other light is almost directly behind her, but just a little bit off to the side, so that it's not visible in the shot. And it's just lighting her hair and her shoulders from behind. Right now, both of the lights are all the way up, so they're and they're both identical lights. And with these settings, I'm at ISO 100, aperture f1.8, shutter speed of 1/80th of a second now. And as you can see, it is a little bit bright on her on her face. So what I'm gonna do up here is I'm gonna just adjust the intensity of the light and just put it to 50%. When I adjusted that, and now I'm gonna have to adjust the shutter speed of my camera and just kind of slow it down to 1/40th of a second to kind of bring up a little bit of more exposure on her face. But this way, I also brighten the background because the background has a little bit of sort of the bounce light and the light from the location lighting it. Now I also want to brighten the background a little bit, so I open the flag there on the light, and I allow it to light a little bit more of the background there. As you can see, it just brings up the exposure on the background a little bit more. Now I adjust my shutter speed one more time to 1/50th of a second. Then this is all daylight balanced. That's how I adjust the lights. So I set the color temperature in my camera to 5600 Kelvin. And here's how our little interview shot looks. Now, these lights have a standard, light stand mount. You can take them off. You can almost use this as a sort of a handle. Now, I ended up getting a kit with which has two of these lights, and it also comes with this nice hard case which has some padding inside to protect your lights. One of the lights is a slightly cheaper model, which is only daylight balanced, so and it does not allow you to actually adjust the color temperature like you saw me doing with the other light. But otherwise it's identical. So because of that, I also get this tungsten color gel that you can put into the light to change the color temperature that way. To change the filters, you just open up a little safety tab over there, and then you slide in your other filter from the top. And what I like about this is that it has this little pin. You see this little orange safety pin that just basically makes sure so that your filters don't fly out accidentally. And then you can just put both of the lights in your case here, just zip it up, and you're ready to go. The next LED light is this one. It doesn't actually have really a brand. All it just says on the back is the model name, which is CN900H, and I think if it's just sort of like one of those generic brands that's being marketed by different companies and sold online by different companies, such as Cowboy Studio and I believe ePhoto. These lights come in just a simple cardboard box. They do not have a case like the other lights. They're daylight balanced at 54 Kelvin, so to change the color temperature you gotta use these filters. One of these lights retails for around $450, and it actually has slightly less LEDs. This one has 900 LEDs, whereas the first light had 1024 LEDs. I end up getting 2 of these lights so I could do this interview setup. And first thing I noticed was how the barn doors are very loose. They just kind of flap around. So it's very hard to set the barn doors, and to really control the light spill. To take out the filters, you just sort of slide them out through the side, but there is nothing really blocking them, a little safety mechanism like the first lights. So you got to be careful so they don't fly out on you. To power the lights, you just plug in a standard 12-volt AC adapter. Now, one thing that was kind of bad was that the cable from the plug to the DC adapter is very short. So when I had the light at this height, you can see the adapter sort of dangling in the air there. And again, I set up 2 of these lights. Again, one as a key light and the other as the backlight on our subject, exactly the same distance and everything as before. And I put both of the lights, with the intensity of them all the way up. Which means that with the same settings as before, this is how the shot looks. This is at ISO 100 again, aperture f1.8, shutter speed 1/50th of a second. The only thing I did change is the white balance in my camera to 5400 Kelvin, because that's what these lights are rated at. Now, the first thing I noticed was that these lights create kind of this weird greenish sort of a color cast. If you look at how the shot looked with the previous lights, had more of these kind of more natural, kind of warmer colors, whereas with these lights, again, like I said, it's just kind of, it's not quite these neutral looking colors. And when I did try to play around with the white balance, I never quite was able to get rid of that green sort of a cast. Just like before, I went in and I reduced the intensity of the key light by 50%, and you'll notice here in the back of the light there's these, a lot of these holes which end up actually spilling a lot of the light backwards, which is kind of weird. And I, kept my settings the same. The camera, I'm still at 1/50th of a second shutter speed, and this is how our final interview shot looks with these lights. And just like the first light, this light also has just a standard light stand mount. And the last light I'm gonna test out is this one from Best Core. It's the cheapest of them all. This one retails for $300, and it's also the smallest and lightest of them all. It's size-wise, it's not that much smaller, but it is, the surface area of the LEDs is actually smaller than the other ones. But really, what makes it, I guess, drastically smaller is the fact that it doesn't have any barn doors, so you can't really control the spill of the light as much. Anyways, let's see how it performs in the setup. So these lights also just come in a cardboard box. They retail one of these lights for $299. They only have 500 LEDs versus the other ones which had 900 and over 1,000 LEDs. I end up getting this kit which comes with these stands. Now the one thing I didn't like about these lights is in order to mount them onto the stands, It just has this, simple camera tripod screw, so you can mount it to, I guess, to just a standard camera tripod. Also, this means that you cannot use, any other light stands with these lights. You gotta use, like I said, either a tripod or the lights that come, the light stands that come with it. And as you'll notice, this part here, that hinge that kind of lets you tilt the light, is just made out of plastic. It's kind of flimsy. So if that thing breaks on you, then that's it. Your light stands are useless. You power it here on the side of the light. That's one cool thing, is that there's nothing here in the back of these lights. So the light is very thin. It's the thinnest of the other three. Now again, these lights, they're daylight balanced, and you cannot adjust the color temperature. You can only adjust the intensity here. So I set up the lights the same as before. My key light and my backlight, I set both of them right now all the way up. And at ISO 100, aperture f1.8, and shutter speed 1/50th of a second. This is how the shot looks. And even though these lights have only 500 LEDs, you'll notice that they're actually just as bright, or maybe even a little bit brighter than the other lights. So here I end up adjusting the exposure in my camera. I adjust the shutter speed to 1/80th of a second. Then I go again and I reduce the intensity of the key light by half. This is how it looks at 1/80th of a second shutter speed. So now I adjust the shutter speed back to 1/50th of a second to get a little bit more light. And then I also changed the white balance in my camera, since these lights are rated at 6500 Kelvin. So I set my white balance to the same setting. And this is how this shot looks. As you can see, it's fairly similar. I would say even more similar probably to the first light that I used. And now, because these lights don't have any barn doors, I couldn't really control the spill, or how much light I was basically putting there on the background. But I managed to get this kind of a looking shot. These lights also use just a standard 12-volt DC power plug. Like I was saying, I'm not a big fan of this attachment, and also there's just the light stands that come with it. I mean, they're okay, but they are a little bit flimsy. And now the one thing I do like about these lights is that they are really, really super light and thin. Probably they're the smallest, basically, of all the lights that I used. Okay, so having tested all the lights, I think the best one, that I would recommend is the one by Came. It is just most like the most kind of a solid feeling kind of light. And it has all those tiny little things, that they've added that make a difference. Just like, when it comes to the two stabilizers that I had a chance to test out last week. I find that this company basically, it just thinks of all these little things that, like I said, makes your life easier as a filmmaker. So the fact that you have this little clip, that blocks the filters. Basically, this light just allows you the most, amount of control. When it comes to the other light, the no brand name light. That one I can't recommend because of that weird little green cast that it puts out, and also those little annoying things like the fact that the barn doors loosen up easily. You don't have as fine control when it comes to the cold temperature, things like that. The third light, the one from Besker, it is the cheapest one, also the smallest one. It does not allow you as much also control as the one from Came. So maybe because of that, like I said, I wouldn't recommend it as much, unless I would say if you can afford to get it, then maybe it would be a great little backup or sort of a B light, simply because it's you can get it right now as a kit for I believe $800. You'll get two of these lights, two stands, and two portable 12-volt batteries that you can charge at home, and those batteries will power each of your lights for around 2.5 hours. And what's great about that is then this little light, when you're on location, it could be really good because it has this, a really dedicated sort of a carrying handle, and it is the lightest of all of the lights that I tested today. And yeah, it doesn't have the barn doors, but then again, when you're shooting outside, you don't have to worry as much about the light spilling and stuff like that, because you're usually working in bigger spaces. So it could actually be a great little light that, like I said, and because you can power it off of the 12-volt batteries that it comes with, then you don't have to worry about having access to a power outlet. So you could basically just have somebody holding this light, holding the little 12-volt battery on their shoulder, and just walking with it and lighting your subject. Also, like I said, the light is pretty small, and it's the lightest of all of them. So you could even take it, for example, and mount it to a ceiling just using some gaffer's tape. and because it is so thin and so small, you know, it could be a good little light to sort of hide in those tight little, you know, sets and spaces where you want to do some lighting. And now when it comes to this light by Came that performed the best in our test today, if you guys want, and I would actually recommend that you buy the kit that they offer, which is 2 of these lights, and it comes with this you know, really handy and nice case to protect your lights. That retails for around $1,000. Now there's two versions. There's one, you know, that I used, and then there's also another one like this, which is a little bit cheaper, and basically what it doesn't offer is the adjustable color temperature, but then it comes with the different gels that you guys can put in here to change the temperature of your light. Again, it's a really good little kit for $1,000. If you want stands, I believe the same company offers also stands on their website for around $50 or $60 for 2 stands. So you can get that together. And if you go to the website right now, then they also offer free shipping for anyone within North America, Europe, or Australia. You can also get these lights on eBay and Amazon. If you guys want direct links to where you can buy all the different kits and options, then just go to my website at tomantosfilms.com. I'll post up all the links there for you guys. Also over there you'll find, you know, easy links to all my previous filmmaking tutorials and, you know, equipment reviews and that kind of stuff, as well as my films. Anyways, that's it for today, guys. I hope you guys enjoy this, and I'll see you next time.